I really like Jaden. I look at Jaden Bradley, and I don't understand why he can't beat Jamal Shed. I just said it. I don't understand why he can't. Now, listen, I'll say this. He doesn't have the vision that Jamal Shed does, but I think defensively, he is an absolute monster. He's built similarly. He can get into the paint. You saw that. He's got a big dog in him. Well, like a big dog, like a Doberman pinscher inside of him as well. I mean, I like Jaden Bradley. Why can't he beat Jamal Shed? Take your time.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think you're talking about a guy that a lot of people think is the best point guard in the country.
He averaged, as a sophomore, he averaged 10, 5, and 2.
Yeah, that's fine. I think he could do that.
Right.
I think Shed's a dog. That's the thing. Like,
who's Jaden?
Yeah. I'm trying to do that, help you do that thing where like you make that jump from like good player to like this dude's going to be the best point guard in the country next year. Like,
right.
He's good though. Like I have no problem Arizona giving him the point guard spot every game. I really don't. I completely understand Tommy Lloyd because he was, I would say, the last 12 games of the year, Jaden Bradley was elite. Like elite. I mean, he was really good. And so you're like, okay.
Here's what happens when you get consistent minutes as well.
Right. So if you're like Tommy, you're like, you know what? I can do that. Let's put him in the point. Now we got to see if Caleb Love is coming back. But you need a backup. I like Conrad. You need a backup. But, you know, when you're looking at the roster and you're like, okay, I feel good about the point guard position with Bradley. I'm okay with it.
I feel very good. And also, I think that this guy is and we're talking about dogs. Sheer is, L. Bloom, you're right. Sheer slept on JB all season. This is
but you know what? At the end of the day,
you're man enough to admit you made a mistake.
I'm man enough, and no one took a bigger hit than Mike with Dylan in the last 24 hours.
Dude, it's too soon, man. It is way too soon on
this. Let's be honest with Dylan. Let's say this. You know,
I want to get back to Jaden Bradley. It was something I was right about.
No, you won't say it. I'm not making fun of you. You won't say it, so I will. The reason it is disappointing from Mike's perspective is Mike invested a lot in Dylan. The coaching staff invested a lot in Dylan.
More than I did.
Right? Like they were going to play him. There's no hard feelings. Like Dylan's close to Tommy. Dylan has known TJ Benson since he was little, right?
Right.
And so it's like we invested a lot. Like we trusted you, and it's not hard feelings. Like you get it at the end of the day. Dylan wants guaranteed minutes, but you know, like Mike spent the whole last year building up Dylan, and he'll never see it.
I'll never see it. But again, man, just go to GCU so I can root for you there at least. Back to Dylan Bradley. Back to Jaden Bradley for a second. Here's the other thing. I also think when you have a point guard that is tough, that is mentally, physically tough, I think that is something that kind of wears off on the team. Let's be honest. Kirk Kriisa talked a lot, was not a good defensive point guard. He was not leading the charge from there. Neither was Kylan Boswell. You watch Jaden Bradley. He's got his hands all, I always say, he can block shots. He can get in passing lanes. He is a disruptor. That is the best way that I can say it. He is a disruptor, Sheer. And that is, I think, something that is very difficult to really quantify.
He's not perfect. He's not a perfect point guard.
He wouldn't be in college if he was.
Right? He's going to have some games where he struggles a little bit, but then he's going to have some games where he looks awesome. Like that Clemson game, there were times where he was the best player on the court.
Dayton as well.
Like they needed him. And then, you know, other games where he's not, but it's time. Like I always say, it's time. Like he deserves the look, right? And I saw someone like basically insinuating there's always a scapegoat. Yes, there is always a scapegoat on Arizona. I don't know who it'll be next year, but a lot of times it's deserved in a way, right? Like to me, Pella wasn't deserved. I thought that was a lot of the Pella hate.
Yeah. My bad, Pella. My bad, Pella.
Kylan, I get it, man. And Tommy said it. Tommy goes, look, when you're the point guard at the University of Arizona, this comes with the territory. It just does. And so if you're coming to play point guard at Arizona, you better be well aware that there isn't one player on the roster that'll get criticized or scrutinized as much as you.
And that's why you've got to be careful about how you conduct yourself. And that's where with Jaden Bradley, I don't worry about those things. Also, I think we're going to find out that Jaden Bradley is a better shooter than people think.